Go ahead.
I just wanted to share my experience of the crate, whatever you might call it. I call it stench or whatever. There was some people that said we should go down. There was all the clubs in that area were closed, and so there was a man who was like a party promoter or whatever, and he's I don't know if anyone's heard him, but he's John Perry Barlow. And so he said, come to this friend of his club, and it was only a couple weeks later. I stayed in my apartment and just taped the windows closed because I was concerned about having, getting exposed to any kind of toxins. But I decided just to do it and go down there because I guess everyone was very depressed and just to be with other people. And the club had air cleaning devices, so you could only smell that when you were, they turned those on for the party, so you could only smell the smell when you're outside. And I had a reaction which was that whenever I smelled that smell, my throat would become extremely irritable, and I would feel like my glands would start to swell. My glands in my throat would immediately start to swell. And so anyway, I had a drink there. I had Lagavulin. I'd never tried it before, and there was a certain taste in it, and it was like it tasted just like the smell. Okay, so I thought, oh, I guess it's really benign after all. I guess it's just like a peaty smell, or it's like a peaty thing that you might get out of a cask from of a scotch. And I thought that was what Lagavulin tasted like. And then, later, maybe some weeks later, actually downtown, I was laughing about it. I said, it tastes just like the smell. And people were looking at me like, you're crazy. Why are you even drinking it? But I guess I'm very slow. I hadn't figured that out. And so I tasted it another time. I tasted scotch downtown Lagavulin, and it had the same taste. And my theory is that the corks were off. They had the whole, so that obviously somehow it had gotten into the drink, whatever it was. Because later, maybe a few months later, I tried it uptown, and I realized that the Lagavulin doesn't have that flavor in it, for what it's worth. And so.
Would you say the smell could be like a moldy, musty kind of smell?
No.
Yeah,
that was the idea. It wasn't exactly like that, but, it could pass for something like peaty or musky.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's very informative, very helpful. Thank you very much. We'll talk more about that.
Why did it change Tracy's hair and not Peggy's?
It does some strange things.
How do you know it wasn't the other way around?
Well, folks talk about, many of my photos have this like orangish tint to them, the ones I got from the FEMA site. Here's the picture I was describing while we're waiting for the reboot. This is about a block or so north of the WTC complex, and you can see the toasted cars over there in the lot burning away. So it isn't a whole lot after Tower 1 went poof. The sky is clear blue, but if you notice, around the feet of these people, you see this fine, fuzzy dust. I term that fuzzy fuzzballs. That's different than fuzzy blobs. Fuzzy blobs are eating on things. Fuzzballs are just this cloudy thing around the feet. You could say, okay, these people are stirring up dust that's already settled out, fine powder. How could it have settled out that fast? The cars are just getting up to speed with their burning. So why would you have dust settling out of the air down to the ground?
You can have dust settling out very rapidly under the influence of the electrostatic field.
And then immediately it starts coming up?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Now the change says something is changing with the whatever it is that's on the ground. Here's a lot more pictures of these fuzzballs. Just where the feet are, and again, that is so fine, it couldn't have settled out. It's rising up. As though the material could maybe continue to be breaking down. Big dust landed quickly, and then start breaking down into finer and finer dust till it starts floating upward. It's so fine.
Judy?
Yes?
In the nanoparticle range, gravity and motion keeps the particles
Suspended. That's what this appears to be. But it didn't start out that way, that it broke down.
Gravitational forces don't operate on nanoparticles.
And that's what I'd say this data looks like. And here's the transition between just the fuzzballs at the feet and then turning into the ground fuming. Between this picture on the left and the picture on the right, notice it's coming up all by itself. It doesn't need the feet to stir it up. Found this picture. I thought this was interesting. Hiroshima. Look at the fuming. Just for food for thought. Oh, I mentioned this being 9/11 being the new Hiroshima. You know what the new Nagasaki was? Anthrax. The 1-2 punch. Here's the street, cleaned. Street sweepers out scrubbing the streets, in the way, impeding emergency vehicles. Aren't they down there looking for survivors? No, they're scrubbing the streets first. And here in this picture on the right, it looks like they scrubbed it with a toothbrush. Out here, but there is some crud over here. It's very clean. But on 9/11, they started cleaning the streets, or at least wetting down this fuming. People might start asking questions. You can use the molten metal myth at ground zero, but this is a block or two north. Why are the streets fuming? Better scrub them down quickly. And you've got a hose job. Continually. The streets were clean enough to eat off of. Constant scrubbing. But notice there's some haze in the background. There's always this fumes coming up. More street scrubbing. At a construction site, why don't you wait until you're all cleaned up and then scrub the streets? But they're fuming. You scrub them, nobody notices they were fuming. But what do you do with the lawn, the front yard? You bring in potting soil. This is in front of one of the WFC buildings that was across the street from Tower 1. This looks like brand new potting soil brought in. Why would they dump that on the front yard? There was a terrace, a little bit of a terrace lawn out front. Yeah, that's too good. They're planning on doing some, landscaping. How did the dirt get inside that fire truck? It's, inside the cab. Of course, we don't know what happened to the engine block here either. And all this dirt spilling out. And then we have the bucket brigade. I do not know what in this bucket is so important that they need this bucket brigade. But look what they're standing on. Dirt. Brand new dirt. Lots of dirt. But where did it come from? The plaza level of the WTC. This is over by, I think that's Building 5 and Building 4 in the background. We're out standing over the plaza level area. And where's all this dirt from? Mountains of dirt. Look at this dirt. A nice pile. This is from the 13th. Just here and here, but not where the fresh dirt is. Huh. Cover them with dirt. And another thing, this looks like it came from a landfill. You have pens and pencils and office-looking stuff. Hey, that looks like you should have left over from Tower 1 or Tower 2. So it has a couple of purposes there. And now you start...
Judy, are you saying somebody brought that in or just appeared there?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the pictures, just noticing this. The plot thickens. We also noticed these pieces of steel. Or what are they? Steel doesn't rust that fast. This looks like it was spray painted Rust-Oleum orange. Now, if it was really hot and we had molten metal down there, why isn't this dog's feet getting burned? He doesn't seem to be having a problem with it. And another thing that's interesting, look on this guy's face mask. He's got a little monitor. See what he's breathing. Some people got to have monitors and other ones didn't. Now this picture on the 14th shows they had a big rainstorm that day. This was the northern walkway that went from WFC3 over to Tower 1 and Building 6. That's Building 6, Tower 1 was here. This is the pedestrian walkway. This is what it looked like on